Hey guys, I wanted to make a video and go over what I think this new boss is going to look like on the new DLC 2 Zombies map. There's enough information about it where I thought it would be fun to do some concept art with it and try to put together the best representation of this thing based on what we know about it and also what Treyarch has done in the past for like bosses. So I'll just go down the list of everything we know and I'll show you how this monster was inspired by it. And big shout out to Silas for helping to create this concept. His link will be in the description. First thing I'll talk about is the size of this thing. I would think that it would be pretty big because it talks about how it actually eats a player. There's some kind of cutscene and also animation that shows it eating a player, so I would think that it would have to be pretty big to actually eat a person. It talks about how this thing actually consumes something, so whether or not that's like a zombie or some other enemy on the map or a player, not too sure, but it does say that it actually will eat like one of us. The size of this thing was inspired by a Margwa because yeah, it's got to be pretty big, a lot bigger than a player, and then the mouth is inspired by just the ability to eat something so large, and it was also inspired by that big tentacle monster in the sky from Shadows of Evil. You know how it has that big like mouth in the center and it looks just like, yeah, it's ready to eat something. Plus this island that we're supposed to be going to has some link with Cthulhu, and so does that big tentacle monster in the sky. That is definitely Cthulhu inspired. Another thing this thing does is it goes into like a berserk mode, so if you shoot it or injure it or like irritate it in some way, it's gonna go into this like rage berserk mode, a lot like the Margwa. When you shoot one of the heads out of the Margwa, he goes from like walking to running and he's like super pissed. Another thing that he does is he melees, so he can damage us by like swinging and hitting us, a lot like the Margwa does with his tentacles, and like swing and hit us, and so does the Panzer. So given that information, I knew this guy had to have some kind of arms, and since we're going to be on an island, we wanted to do something like, you know, island themed, so we gave him like almost like these crab crustacean like arms that, you know, looked pretty fierce. Also, he does show pain and also can be stunned. And if he can be stunned, it's going to be by some type of wonder weapon, like for example the Margwa. If you shoot off one of the Margwa heads and then you shoot the wonder weapon at him, the Apothicon Servant, he does like a stunned, like painful like stature, like he's bending over and he's like hurt. That's like a stun animation, and this guy does the same kind of thing. Next thing it shows is that he has a speed walk and a speed run, so I guess after you maybe make him mad and make him go into berserk mode, he's gonna come running after you a lot like the Margwa does. So we gave him some big beefy legs so he could keep up with us, and yeah, definitely support that big fat body. The next information shows how I believe we actually injure him and may even kill him this way. It shows that he has these pustule type spores on his body. He's got one on his chest, his back, and his arm. It indicates that we actually have to shoot these things and destroy them, and they do actually reinflate. So it makes me think that like we have to shoot all of them and get them all destroyed, and if we don't, they're gonna reinflate, and he's almost like healing himself, and we gotta like get them all destroyed to actually completely destroy him. Another thing I noticed is that it never talks about him having a head, like actually injuring his head or anything like that. So that's why he was kind of constructed like this with just like a huge mouth and like arms and legs. And I seriously doubt he's gonna look anything like this. I would be totally shocked if like anything was even remotely close to this. But I had a lot of fun using my imagination and just a little information that I had to, you know, come up with something and just keep us entertained while we wait for DLC 2 to drop. But here's the final finished piece of artwork, and this is him standing on the island. That's the actual like island background, like the image that we accidentally got to see. But this definitely gets me excited. I am ready for DLC 2, and that information should be dropping like any day now, and I'll keep you guys updated about that. But let me know what you think about this, and we'll see you guys next video.